What's up, guys, and welcome to another Scourge of War Waterloo video. So in this video, I am going to do a tutorial for beginners on how to play H.I.T.S, or otherwise known as Headquarters in the Saddle in Scourge of War Waterloo. For those of you that just quickly want to see what I'm talking about here, want to know what H.I.T.S is, what it looks like, go into my YouTube channel and look for in the playlist section. Look for this right here, Scourge of War Waterloo H.I.T.S playthroughs, and you'll see I have a number of scenarios that I have done playing Headquarters in the Saddle. These three here are core scenarios. Here's a division scenario. Here's a brigade scenario. So you can kind of see what H.I.T.S looks like at different levels of command and so forth. Yeah, if you want to see what it looks like to understand what I'm going to be talking about, just click on any one of these videos, watch a few minutes of it or scroll through, and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about here. One of the things that I've learned from years of talking to other Scourge of War players, through talking to people on forums like the Norbsoft forums or Matrix or Steam's forums, or even other YouTube videos or even comments on my own YouTube videos, is that when it comes to war gamers, I'm something of an oddball in that there are very few war gamers out there that are so relentlessly obsessed with winning the way I am. When it comes to what kind of drove me to learn this game at the level I did, was this kind of relentless drive to win that I have. And I didn't just want to beat the game. I wanted to dominate it. I wanted to master it. I wanted to know everything there was to know about it, how it worked, how I could control it, how I could manipulate it, how I could make it serve my will, so to speak. And over the years, what I've realized is that, like I said, I'm the oddball. Most wargamers do not think like that. For many wargamers, winning is actually pretty low on the list of things that matter to them when it comes to a good war game. And there are many other factors besides winning that actually take a much higher priority when it comes to what they're looking for in a war game. Things like flavor, realism, historical significance, immersion, things like that. There are many wargamers out there that would say now those things are far more important to them than winning. Um, you know, so one of the things Scourge of War Waterloo does so well is actually cater to many different types of players. So in most of my videos, I've shown the game from my perspective in terms of I've shown you how to win, right? And I don't pay a lot of attention to things like flavor, historical realism, immersion. Those things don't necessarily matter so much to me. I wanted to learn how to win. Um, and so I do tons of things in the game that um, and I make no, I've never made any bones about this. I've never tried to hide it. I do things that are gamey. I do things that are outside the spirit of the game. I find ways to win that are just completely absurd and outside the realms of reality. I don't care. Winning is winning to me. But as I said, I'm the oddball, and most wargamers are not like that. But Scourge of War Waterloo is unique in that it caters to many different types of players, and it caters to those type of players as well. And one of the things that it can do that no other Napoleonic war game can, not Total War, not Ultimate General, not the Tiller games, none of them can do, is Headquarters in the Saddle. So I guess the easiest way for me to sum up what Headquarters in the Saddle is that it takes the game and flips it on its head, flips the script and transforms the game from a real-time strategy game into a war game equivalent of a role-playing game. It takes you and places you in the position of being an officer on the Napoleonic battlefield, whether it be a brigade commander, a division commander, a corps commander, or even an army commander in command of 80,000 men on the battlefield. And it places you in that role of being that officer. And rather than controlling the game, manipulating the game the way I do, instead you become an officer in command of these troops on the battlefield. And you raise high your standards, draw your saber, and lead your men into battle. And basically, what I'm going to do here in this video is basically do a beginner's guide to somebody who maybe has just gotten the game or has never been able to really get a grasp on it, but wants to feel that immersion, wants to feel that flavor, wants to get a taste of that historical realism, and play out that fantasy of being an officer on the Napoleonic battlefield. And what I'm going to teach you to do is get the most out of your HITS experience, as well as some tips and tricks to help you streamline it and uh, make your experience as hassle-free as possible. There are a certain amount of things when playing from the saddle that are always going to be out of your control. That's just the nature of being an officer on the Napoleonic battlefield. There were no radios. There was no possibility of instant communication. You know, so there are certain things that are always going to feel outside of your control when you're playing from the saddle. But that's part of it, right? That's part of the role playing experience. That's part of the immersion. That's part of the flavor. Um, so let's get into it. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is just boot up the game here. Alrighty. So the first thing we have to do is talk about some technical stuff. I know this is the boring part, guys, but it's actually really necessary when we talk about how we're going to set things up to play headquarters in the saddle. So on this options page 1 here, this setting here is the default normal difficulty. For all of my videos except the headquarters in the saddle videos that I've done, this is pretty much what I've run as far as all the videos I did early on where I was teaching you guys how to beat every single scenario in the game and teaching how to use the interface. All that stuff was done on this default normal difficulty. I call this difficulty equilibrium. It's where everything is balanced, right? So the when it talks about the AI aggressiveness, AI morale level, AI regimental strength, it's talking about the enemy, right? Not how the AI works for you. It's talking about your opponent, right? The AI commanding your enemy, right? So at normal here, everything is set to basically equilibrium. It's historical equivalence of what these things represent on a unit level, right? So the AI regiment strength is 100%, which means it's exactly what it was historically. It doesn't have more men or less men than it did historically. Its morale is what it was historically. Its aggressiveness and troop quality is what it was historically. Um, Now, there are different levels of difficulty, and what they do is change some of the parameters, right? So if we go all the way down to untrained here, right, you can see it's flipped a number of things, right? So the AI aggressiveness is -3, the morale is -3, the AI regiment strength is 80%. So what this basically means is that all the enemy battalions that you're facing are not going to be, they're going to start off at being 80% of what they were historically as far as manpower goes, right? So it's basically a 20% cut to manpower all across the board for every unit on the opposing side that the AI is controlling. And it's also going to reduce their troop quality by 3 and reduce their morale by 3. For all intents and purposes, this turns the AI into a complete pushover. You do not need to really even know what you're doing. Things that would never work on normal will work on this difficulty. So you could do things like take a cavalry squadron and charge a fresh infantry unit in square, and you'll probably still break them. Right? You might be able to take things like take an infantry unit in marching column and charge an enemy unit in assault column, and you'll still break them. You'll still break them, even though that makes absolutely no sense. It's just that the AI is so nerfed that there's really nothing it can do against you. Your units are going to be so overpowered compared to the AI that there's really no way you're not going to beat them at everything, at every point, and at every turn. So if we go up to militia, this is a little bit more than halfway between normal and what was the other one? Untrained. I've never even played on Untrained, so it's so useless to even bother doing. So I forget what it's called. Um, so here, the AI is nerfed, but not quite as drastically nerfed as it is in Untrained. So the AI is now at 90%. So it's a 10% cut all across the board. Their troop quality and aggressiveness is reduced by 2. Their morale is reduced by 2. This is still a drastic nerf to the AI. You still will basically be able to beat it pretty easily. You might not be able to get away with doing things like charging an assault column in marching column and win, but you might be able to do it after that unit's been hit a time or two. If it's not a fresh unit, you'll still be able to do things like charge an enemy unit in line with a unit of yours in assault column, and you'll still win almost all the time. You might not be able to charge a fresh square with cavalry, but if it's not so fresh, if it's got some, wear to its morale, to its fatigue, and you charge a square, there's a good chance you'll still win. You still really, really tank the AI on militia. So normal, as I said, is equilibrium. Now everything is balanced. There's no nerfs or buffs to the regiment strength. It's 100% of what it was historically. All the units' morale is what it was historically. Its troop quality is what it was historically. What they read in game is what they actually are here. And as I said, this is the setting I used for pretty much every video I've done other than H.I.T.S videos. After normal, it starts flipping in favor of the AI. So at season, you can see a couple of things have changed. The AI aggressiveness and troop quality is now buffed to +1. Its morale is buffed, and it now has a 10% increase to its battalion strength. So now its battalion strength is at 110%. And at this point now, for any army scenarios, right, where you're the army commander, the orders are going to be sent by courier, right? And it also reduces the enemy units that are visible to any of your units on the map to within 700 yards instead of 100,000 yards. Instead of 100 yards, sorry, 1,000 yards, sorry. It's not from the saddle yet. The camera is still completely free. But at this point now, the AI has become a significant challenge. You will not be able to beat the AI unless you know the things I know, unless you know how to control engagement distances, unless you know how to control enemy formations, unless you know how to really manipulate the game's mechanics in your favor, the AI will probably beat you. Above this, it starts to get completely out of control. At veteran difficulty, honestly, the AI is practically unbeatable. Nothing you're really going to do is going to stop all but the worst troops in the game. For any normal troops, level 5, level 6, they're just going to crush anything you can do about it. Even using my tactics, even using things like the fortress and trying to control and manipulate engagement distances and formation controls, it's just not going to matter. The troops are going to be so good that they're just going to be able to bum rush anything you've got, and there's really nothing you can do. And the same thing goes for any of these other higher difficulties. Again, this is basically the opposite now of Untrained, as Untrained is -3 to everything. At historical now, it's +3 to everything, and the AI is just going to run roughshod over you. And at Grognard, forget about it. It's like facing a whole arm. You're your opponent is basically all made up of T1000s. They're all Terminators. You can't win. But if you were to go to Grognard and take a look at the rest of this here, right, you can see that orders by courier are now at the brigade level, so the lowest level of command. We have a bear map, and now we have hits, right? So the maximum distance the camera can move from you, the officer, is 10 yards. So basically, for all practical purposes, you're locked to your saddle. This is basically hit settings here. The problem is you would never want to play with this. This is unwinnable. The AI will just destroy you, right? So how can we get hit settings, right, but actually maintain equilibrium, right? So how can we get the equilibrium that you get in normal in terms of the opponent you're facing, but get the headquarters in the saddle settings that we're looking for from Grognard? And the answer is custom difficulty. If you notice, things are now editable here, right? So if you look at any of these other settings, I can't change them, right? I can't change anything. These are preset difficulty levels, as I said earlier. Um, all the way up to historical Grognard, they're all fixed. But custom difficulty allows us to actually change things and set things the way we want them to. And that's what we're going to use to play Headquarters in the Saddle. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how I play Headquarters in the Saddle, right? And then what I'm going to do is show you what I want you as a beginner to set it to sort of tweak it for the fact that you're a beginner. So when I play Headquarters in the Saddle, I set everything at equilibrium here. I bring orders by courier, right, all the way down to the lowest command. So you want all orders at all levels to be transmitted through courier, and that's why it says orders by courier at this level and above. So when you select infantry brigade, you're selecting infantry brigade and everything above it. So like if you select corps, you're selecting corps and army, and psi, everything above it, right? Division, you're selecting division, corps, army, everything above it, right? So by setting to infantry brigade, which is the lowest level of command, you're setting it so that basically all couriers throughout the game are transmitted by, or all orders are transmitted by courier, right? At this level, at Headquarters in the Saddle, I do want the bear map, right? That's what I'm going for ultimate immersion and ultimate realism, right? Maps are just maps, right? They don't have your troop deployments or the enemy listed on them, right? They're just maps, right? And I also set the camera setting to 10, right? Which is what they use in Grognard, right? You want a little bit of movement because you do need to you do need to be able to scroll up from your officer just a little bit in order to be able to actually get above ground level to click certain things. So I usually go with 10. You're still locked to the saddle, but you can raise the camera up enough so that if you want to move your officer somewhere, you can still click on the screen, right? And then what I do is disable the target list. What the target list is that when we're playing, a lot of times you'll see me mention in the upper left-hand corner when I talk about my units and what the range is and what units they're targeting. All that stuff is listed in here, and that's basically the target list. I disable that, right? I turn it off so that you have no targeting list. You wouldn't have essentially a radar. You wouldn't have a radar in real life, right? And then I always, no matter whether I'm playing hits or not, I always disable the context menu just because I'm using the Grog toolbar. What the context menu is if you're not using the Grog toolbar, I mean, you can use it with the Grog toolbar, there's just no point. But with the stock toolbar, the original way it worked is that whenever you right-clicked on it, it would pop open a little menu at whatever point you clicked on and give you kind of a little mini menu that would use to select formations and so forth, and change orders. I honestly don't even remember what it all does. I so don't use it. I never use it. I always have it disabled because uh, everything is available on the Grog toolbar. You really don't need the context menu. So if you're using the Grog toolbar, which why wouldn't you? It's practically mandatory. Disable the context menu. It's not necessary. Just you do everything from the Grog toolbar. Right. So this is what I would use to play Headquarters in the Saddle. But I also have 5 years of experience playing this particular game. Um, so we're going to tweak this a little bit just to make it a little bit more beginner friendly in terms of you being able to interact with the game. So here's what I suggest: turn the turn the target list back on, because when you click on units, you're going to be able to get information about the enemy units in front of you, how far away they are, and so forth. Um, Take bear map and you want to set it to all units, right? What this is going to do is allow you to see not only all of your units, but all of the enemy units on the screen. Again, I'm trying to teach you how to play hits here, not necessarily how to win, right? When you get more experience, you can start to increase this stuff to all in sight, to all in 1,000 yards, to all in 700 yards, to finally to bear map. But just as a beginner, you want to be able to see the units on the map, because that's the only way you're going to actually be able to see everything on the map, because you are going to be locked to your officer. So you're not going to be able to see anything but what is in your immediate area around your officer. You're not going to be able to scroll all over the battlefield. You're going to be stuck to your officer. If you want to go look at another part of the battlefield, you're going to actually have to go and march yourself over there to see what's going on. So this will at least let you see what's on the map in terms of um, uh, being able to at least see what's going on in the big picture, even though you're locked to your saddle. Again, this is just meant to help you familiarize yourself with playing from the saddle. You don't have to do this. This is just if you wanted to go jump into the fire feet first, by all means, you can go do it. But I'm just trying to make it a little easier for you guys as beginner to tweak a few things until you get comfortable playing hits. We're still stuck to the saddle. We're still using couriers at all levels of command. And the other thing I'm going to give you as an option here is just to take these two and bump them down by one, right? So this will just make the playing against the AI a little more forgiving as far as the enemy forces you're playing. For a beginner, this is not going to give you a massive advantage. It would give me a massive advantage, but it wouldn't give you. It's just going to give you for lack of a better word, it's just going to make the game a little more forgiving for you. Right? It's not going to really change your experience as far as learning how to play the game Headquarters in the Saddle. So these are the settings I would recommend as a beginner, just jumping into playing Headquarters in the Saddle for the first time. Right? So this is optional. If you want, just bump the troop quality down -1, bump the morale level down -1. You leave the AI at the battalion strength at 100%. That's fine. Infantry brigade at the for the orders by courier, lowest level of command, infantry brigade. So all orders are transmitted by courier. Again, put all units on the map so you can see everything going on, because it's the only way at first you're going to be able to see what's going on, and because you're going to be locked to your saddle. And then just display the target list so that you can, when you click on units, you can at least get an idea of what's in front of them, what the range to their enemies are, and so forth. All right, so let's apply those options, right? And now let's talk about how Headquarters in the Saddle works. So let's pick a scenario here. Actually, this is a pretty good one. So why don't we start with the scenario here? So this is the French Corps scenario for the attack on the town of Ligny in the Ligny expansion. You command Gerard's Corps with two divisions, Pichot and Vichery. The right division here under Vichery, I believe, is locked, and you basically start off with only Pichot's division on the left here. Or Peshawar. My French is terrible. I don't know how to pronounce these. I've always called him Pichot, but maybe it's Peshawar. Um, and I believe his division is the only one available. So even though this is a core scenario, it effectively starts off as a division scenario because you only have one division available. So that gives us actually an opportunity to talk about different levels of command when playing from the saddle. So let's launch this. Alrighty. So the first thing we're going to do here is you can see now I really cannot move much. That's the amount I can move. That's the amount I can scroll my camera. That's the amount I can raise it and lower it. I am locked to my saddle. Alright, so it says the attack of General Van Damme's Corps has already started. Order the division of General Pichot to advance and occupy the town of Ligny. Now, one of the things you'll notice here, it says all of your officers are on take charge from the AI. And that's very important, especially for headquarters of the saddle. So let's close this and quickly pause the game here. So, as you can see, as I said, this is the amount of movement I have. Nothing, right? I can spin the camera, I can raise it and lower it a little bit. You know, I can go up about that much. And I said, you just want it to go up that much so you can at least kind of point and, you know, be high enough up that you can at least point and, like, you know, click something while I have the game paused. But, you know, if I want to move, you know, I can at least move myself. And the camera will just kind of be dragged along with the officer here. The first thing we want to learn to do is navigate the order of battle, right? So one of the things we can do is actually just, you can still click on officers just like you do in the regular game when not playing Headquarters in the Saddle, right? So if I take my cursor and hover over this guy right here, you can see that's Napoleon, and it'll click on him and bring him up. Now the camera view does not change, but because you're always going to be locked to the officer you play, but I could still select Napoleon. Or I could click on, here's Peshawar, our division commander. I could click on him. But that's only because everybody is set up so nicely in line here. You can see here's our other division commander, Vichery, that it's very easy to get a hold of all our commands here, simply because they're all within visual range of us. But what if they're not, right? What if we, you know, the battle has already been engaged and we don't know where our officers are? Well, then what do we do? So the first button, and one of the most important buttons I got to talk about here when it comes to playing Headquarters in the Saddle, is this right here. This is called Go to Me. Anytime you click this button, it will select the officer you are. In our case, General Gerard, commander of the 4th Corps. Right? So if we click on Go to Me, it brings us right back to who we are here, Officer General Maurice Gerard here. And you really want to get used to this button, because I'm going to advise anytime you want to move somewhere, always click on this button. Even if you're already selected on him, just always click on this button before you move your officer anywhere, just to make sure that you're actually clicked on him. Because here's the issue, right? Pause the game a second here. The problem is the camera view doesn't change when you click on other units. So if I click on another unit, the camera view is still exactly the same, right? The only thing that's different is that I'm now clicked on a different unit. So now I'm clicked on the 1st Battalion of the 96th Line from Rome's Brigade. So now, if I go to click to move my officer, I think I'm clicked on my officer, and I want to move my officer simply because, you know, the camera view hasn't changed. What am I actually doing? I'm going to send a courier to the 1st Battalion here and order them to move, because I'm not actually clicked on my guy. So anytime you're thinking about making a move as your officer, just do the precaution of clicking on go to me first. It's safer, you know, that way you don't accidentally make the mistake of trying to move your officer and not realizing that you're clicked on some other unit and you end up clicking and sending them a courier to move instead. Just anytime you're going to move, click on that go to me button. Right? So now we're going to talk about how to, let's pause the game again real quick. How to send orders. Well, first let me talk about how to navigate the order of battle. I meant to talk about that first. So, as I said, if you're in a situation where, you know, the battle has commenced and your officers are all, you don't know where they are, you can't find them, you want to navigate the order of battle. And it works basically like a tree, right? With the top of the tree being Napoleon here. So Napoleon is the very top of the chain of command, right? So I'm going to point you to this arrow down here, and you notice it says OOB down, right? And he doesn't have any other ones because he's the army commander. It only goes down from him. He's the top of the food chain. So if he scrolls down, in this scenario, Gerard is the only other corps commander, right? Well, I think the cavalry corps is on the field too, but yeah, we have the Excellence cavalry, but we're not in command of him, right? So, and we have Pajol's cavalry too. This is the First Corps Cavalry Reserve. We have Milhaud's cavalry, and then back to Gerard. So the cavalry's on the field, but the only infantry corps we have is Gerard, right? And that's the only officer we're playing anyway. So the only troops we're going to have under our command are troops within Gerard's corps. So from there, the only place we really want to go is down, right? So if we go down, it's going to take us to Peshwa, who is our division commander. So we don't actually need to know where Peshwa is on the map in order to find him. We can just use these arrows here and scroll down, and wherever he is on the map, it'll select the unit. It'll select him. It doesn't matter where he is. Even if we can't see him, just scrolling down the order of battle will select him. From there, we can scroll down even further to his brigade commanders. So he has two brigades, Rome and Schaefer. So if we do a horizontal move here, well, that's the supply wagon. If we do a horizontal move to the right here, it'll bring up Schaefer, his other brigade commander, and then the other things will be like his artillery battery and the supply wagon. So if we scroll right again, there's his artillery battery, to the right again, the supply train, and then it'll just go back around to Rome. Right. Now, here's the thing. I've been clicking on these order of battle arrows here just to show you visually so you can see how it works, right? So if I select Rome and now scroll down from Rome, I can actually start to select his battalions, right? So these are all now battalions within Rome's brigade, right? So the 1st Battalion of the 30th Line, the 2nd Battalion of the 30th Line, 3rd Battalion of the 30th Line, 1st Battalion of the 96th, 2nd Battalion of the 96th, and the 3rd Battalion of the 96th, and then it goes back, right? So those are all the units in Rome's command, and we can, again, you'll notice now we are at battalions, and you cannot go down any further than, because that's the scale of the game, right? There's no companies or anything in this game, right? So battalion is the lowest level of order of battle you can get. Not the lowest level of command, that's brigade, but it's the lowest level of the order of battle you can get, right? So the only place to go is up, right? So now you go back to the brigade commander, and you can go up to the division commander, go to a different division commander, go down and select his brigade commanders. Here's Le Capitain's brigade. Here's Desprez's brigade. From there, we can scroll down and select his battalions. 1st Battalion of the 48th Line, 2nd Battalion, 1st Battalion of the 69th Line, 2nd Battalion, and so forth, right? And you can basically use these arrows to navigate the entire order of battle within your command, all the way back up to Gerard. Now, I've been visually clicking on these just to give you guys an understanding of how this works. However, that's not the way you actually want to do it in-game. In-game, you want to use the arrow keys on your keyboard rather than clicking these arrows. It's faster, right? So if I press down on my, I'm going to take my hand off the mouse now, and I'm going to use the arrow key. So if I press down from Gerard, I can get to Pichot, I can get to Vichery, I can go down to my brigade commanders, right? Go down to battalions, go up, you know, all over to where I want to go. Go back to Gerard, right? Go down to Pichot, select his brigade command, division commanders. Okay, here's his brigade commanders, and just it's faster, right, to do it that way. So let's talk about sending orders now. So let's again hit the go to me button. Right, here I am. Now let's say we want to send a division level command, right? Let's just say we want to take Pichot's whole division, move him forward a little bit, and form up in a defensive division setting, like line artillery front, which is a division command I use all the time in my normal playthroughs. It's a good way to just move divisions and get them where they want to go. So you remember that that opening message we got at the beginning of the scenario saying all of our commanders are under TC, right? And you can see if we click on our various brigade commanders here, indeed they are all under TC, right? All of them. And our division commander is under TC as well. So what that basically means is the AI is disabled, right? You can only command them directly. In other words, in order to initiate the chain of command, you have to take everybody off of TC, right? And place them under AI control, right? So the first thing we want to do is click on Pichot here, our division commander, and you want to hit this button here, TC off all subordinates. And what that will do will take him off TC because he's a subordinate of who? Of us, right? Gerard, we're the corps commander, right? Since we're the one sending the order to Pichot, right? And we're sending the TC off all subordinates order, it will take him and his brigade commanders all off of TC, right? Now, the battalions are already off TC. Only the leaders start off on TC. So it's not going to do anything to the battalions. They're already off TC, right? It's just going to take Pichot and his brigade commanders off TC, right? And after that, and when we do that, it's going to send out a courier. It's not going to happen instantly. It's going to send out a courier to Pichot. And once that courier reaches him, then all of his officers will come off TC. For different levels of take command on and off, that you only need to send the first courier. Pichot does not need to send a courier to his brigade commanders to come off TC. It will happen as one command, right? So we just take TC off of Pichot and everybody will come off TC as one command, right? So let's do that first, right? So let's click on Pichot, right? And the first thing we're going to do is take him off of all subordinates. And you'll see we'll send out a courier. Oh, I'm paused. My bad. I'm paused. So, again, do it again. We'll TC off all subordinates, and you'll see we'll send out a courier. Now, if you watch this TC button right here, it will not come off. It will not go dark until the courier reaches him. And what the courier does is basically introduce a sense of time delay into the command process. So it's not instantaneous. I can't just click on him and take him off TC. I have to wait for the courier to reach him. So as soon as the courier reaches him, watch this flag, it will go dark. And there it goes. See, he's no longer on TC. So our order has reached him. So the next thing we want to do is set him a stance. Since we only want to move his division, we don't want him to engage the enemy. We want to set him to the most extreme defensive setting. So, defensive settings in this game are named all-out attack, attack, probe, defend, hold, and hold to the last, and none. And what they really are basically reaction ranges, for lack of a better word. When you, in terms of how far the enemy can be from the units before the units will start reacting to them, right? So, at all-out attack has the biggest reaction range as far as how far the enemy units can be before your units will start reacting to them, while hold to the last has the smallest. So by setting it to all out to hold to the last, well, we want to be clicked on Peshwa to do this, right? By setting him to hold to the last, it will make it so that he has to get a lot closer to the enemy before his troops will react. So you can see a bunch of couriers coming towards me, and what this is largely just units telling me they've sighted the enemy. This courier approaching me is probably going to be my infantry, my artillery battery, telling me that it's sighted the enemy because it's obviously shooting it. Right, so here comes a battalion, a courier message. So let's just click on Peugeot here, Gerard here, and get my little courier message. Here he comes. And yeah, all that is my my artillery battery commander just telling me he's sighted the enemy, he's engaged the enemy, blah, blah, blah. That's all that is. So now, how do we execute a division level command, move our whole division to a location, and get them to select a formation? Alright, so I'm going to bring up the map, right? So this is the real-time map. You get it by pressing M on your keyboard. Everything on this map is in real time. In other words, it's showing you just where your units are at all times on the map in real time. I wish it said just map up here, because when I bring up a different map, it looks exactly the same, but it's a completely different map and has a completely different function. So if you press N on your map, it brings up the command map, which looks identical to the regular map, except it's not. Right? So what we want to do, right, is we want to send our division commander a movement order, right? And basically the way we're going to do that is open the command map, right? And let's say he's right here, and let's say we just want to move him forward to right here and set up his division in line artillery front, right? So what you would do is open the command map, make sure you're selected on Peshwa here, and that he's off TC, and that his stance is set to hold to the last, and just click on the location you want him to go. It could be anywhere, but let's just we don't want to get him too close to the enemy, so let's just click on him right here. That will send out a courier for him to move. Then we want to select a formation, right? So let's take the division formation, line artillery to the front, and that will send out another courier. And let's watch what happens here. I'm just going to speed up time a little bit here just to get the couriers moving faster. And okay, so they're about to arrive, and you'll see Peshwa will start moving. And he's also going to send out orders to his brigade commanders to start moving. Now, as soon as the brigade commanders start moving their units, the command map will start updating in real time. So right now you can see that the couriers are moving, and that Peshwa has his. You can see the units are updating in real time once they get their orders where they're supposed to move to. So this is not happening on the real map. This is just them getting their orders. This is where they're going to move. This is their final formation right here. If you click on the real map, it just shows them slowly starting to move in real time where they are. The command map shows actually what their destination is supposed to be as they all get their orders here and they all begin moving off. Right? So let's bring our officer who we play, right, Gerard, and let's just start moving him forward so we get a little closer to the action here. Right, so all you got to do to move your officer is just click on the map and you'll start moving. Right, and we're just going to follow our battalions along here. You can see our all our troops of that division are moving off here. Right, and you can still use any of the you can rotate your formation. I mean your direction for your commander here. You know, you can keep moving. You can update your movement if you want. It's just like playing regular. You're just stuck to the saddle. You know, but you can use the. You know, you can use the. You know, this is why I say you want to have it set to like 10, so you can still, you're not just bolted to ground level here in case you need to see over a hill or something to click. You know, you can still keep moving forward. So we're just gonna, you know, follow along. We can double click our officer if we want, you know, to maybe catch up with them. You know, and this is just how you would execute a simple divisional movement order. Right, so we're just moving our whole division to a different location on the map, setting them up, and it looks like they're going to form up right around here. And you can see Schaefer is telling me he sighted the enemy in his vicinity, but we're still set on hold to the last, so nobody's really going to go moving around here. And we'll just keep moving here. Alright, so here we are. We're in rear of our troops now, right in rear of the artillery battery. And let's just speed up time and let our units form up here. Just get everybody into position here. And they're all going to form the line with artillery front formation here. I am just going to turn the volume down on my headset here, as those guns are pretty loud in my headset. So there we go. We have a nice, let's get the time setting back here. These last few battalions here are just about formed into position. Here is Rome, our brigade commander. Here is Peshwa, our division commander. And Schaefer, our other brigade commander. So now we are advanced here to about just in front of our lines and within range of the town of Ligny here. Now, in my experience, the game functions best at the division level in terms of in terms of actually commanding your units. Right? So even though this is a core scenario game, if you just give the, let's say like we just gave the division commander a, a divisional order to move his whole division That's fine for just movement orders like this. But if we want to actually attack the town, I don't actually advise giving division level orders. And the reason why is I'm a corps commander, right? So let's say I click on Peshwa here. Where is he? Here he is. Let's say I click on Peshwa, right? Hypothetically speaking. I click on his orders here, and I set him to all-out attack. I'm not going to, but let's say I did, right? And then I open the command map, and I just say, take your whole division and attack Ligny. I just click on the Ligny objective. Here's the problem with that. The orders are going to get transmitted to Peshwa, and then Peshwa is going to transmit orders of his own to his brigade commanders. And my orders are going to be, shall we say, open to interpretation. And they may not do what I want them to do. In fact, they may not do anything remotely close to what I want them to do. And as you can see, Rome here is already decided to start moving forward on his own, just on his own initiative, even being set on hold to the last. He probably thinks he just sees some better defensive ground and wants to move up to support the guns. He's probably not attacking, but he's under AI control, so he can, to a certain degree, have freedom of movement. So he's just decided here that he sees some better ground, at least in his estimation, and he's going to move up to it. But because he's on hold to the last, he's probably not going to engage the enemy, right? So let's say we want to command, we're a corps commander, but we only want to send one brigade forward on the attack. The best way to actually do that is just re-TC the division commander and command the division yourself as a division commander, right? And even in army scenarios, for the most part, when I send forward troops to attack, I do this. I may move corps and division around in terms of how I want to deploy them on the battlefield, in terms of their starting positions, but when I want to launch an attack, I almost always do it at the brigade level, in terms of I will act as a division commander and send my brigades direct orders. Even as an army commander, I will simply TC the corps commander, TC the division commander, and just bypass that chain of command and transmit my orders directly to the brigade. So we could see some skirmishers coming out here. So why don't we actually do that? Let's TC Peshwa, right? So we're going to put him on TC, and let's take Rome here, right? We will set him to all-out attack, right? And send him orders to attack the Ligny objective. Right? So we're going to put Peshwa on TC so he won't interfere. And we might as well also put Rome on, where is he? Rome on TC for now, since we're not going to use him. But we're going to attack Ligny with Rome's brigade. This is actually a very bad plan of attack. You do not want to march into this town directly like this, but for the sake of argument, for the sake of just showing you how to make a brigade level attack here, let's just keep it simple, right? So now, Rome is now on all-out attack, and he has his objective to move his brigade up to the Ligny objective. And you can see if I open the command map, it shows me in real time what his final destination is. Now, this will change when he encounters the enemy and he reevaluates the situation. But this, at least, is what I'm telling him I want him to do. He will reevaluate the situation when he comes in contact with the enemy, believe me. But he knows what he is supposed to do at this point, right? Now, if I open the regular map, you'll see he's actually just right here. This is in real time what he's actually doing. The command map shows what his orders are. This is what I've given him to do. Attack Ligny, take the Ligny objective. And that's the command map. I wish there was a title. I wish it was, especially for beginners, and especially because it's hard for me. They look identical, right? The maps are identical. So I just wish at the top here it said command map, and I wish it just said map on this map, So I'm going to say which map I bring up whenever I bring it up. So let's say I want to follow along now, right? As the corps commander, just keep an eye on what's going on. Or I could hit the go to me button and I could just click on and follow along. Or let's say I want to observe from afar. One of the things I could do is I could click on this button right here. This is the zoom button, and it's going to open the telescope, right? So now I can actually see my men from afar. And if I want to move it, I can kind of move it a little bit. I can pan it, I think. Can I pan it? I thought I could pan it. Oh, if you hold right click, you can hold it to pan, and you can just kind of look around. You can zoom in more if you really want, but this is tough to control because your mouse is super sensitive at this point because of the extreme mag. So let's turn that off, and you can see that Rome has stopped and has reevaluated the situation, and he's now sending out new orders to his battalions. So why don't we open the command map and actually see what those orders are? And you can see that he has reevaluated the situation and decided that he wants to attack. He wants to attack the. Oh, I'm sorry. I am clicked on Gerard, so I'm actually just showing you what Gerard is seeing as far as Rome, as what Rome is carrying out. But let's use the order of battle. Scroll down to Michaud, scroll down to Rome, and now let's open the command map, and you can see he wants to attack the farmhouse here. Right, so that's what he's going to do. He still has this black square that represents the objective, and that's still what he's going to go for, or what he's going to try to go for. But he's going to start by attacking these units in the front here. So now let's hit go to me, and why don't we ride up behind Rome so we can get a better view of what's going on here. So we'll double click our officer, and remember, before you move your officer, always hit the go to me button. Even if you're clicked on yourself already, just hit it anyway, just to be safe. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have gone to move myself and ended up moving some unit because I was clicked on some other unit like that, and the camera view doesn't change, and I just don't notice that I'm not clicked on me, right? So always just make sure you hit that go to me button. And we will ride forward here and just observe how our little brigade level attack is going here. And we are about to get a courier message here. The only thing is the courier moves at the same speed I do, so he will not catch me until I stop. So as soon as I halt here, we will get a courier message. And it's basically just going to be Rome telling me he's sighted the enemy, he's engaged the enemy, blah, blah, blah. So here's Rome. He's sending me a courier message. General Gerard, I have engaged the enemy. Now, let's see if we want to bring up some artillery support. Now, we could just click on our artillery battery right here and just click on a gun and then use the order of battle to bring up was I actually clicked on the commander there? Okay, let's click on a gun, right? And here's our captain, right? So here's the commander of artillery battery. Let's say we want to bring up some artillery support, right? So let's actually TC him, because he'll be more likely to move where we want him to if he's TC'd. And as soon as he's TC'd, we will bring him up to support the brigade attack here. You can see we've got a few skirmisher units out here. And we're just waiting for our courier to reach our artillery battery commander. He's doing okay where he is. He's already got 9 points. And okay, so now we can see the artillery battery commander is under TC. And why don't we bring him... Where's a good spot for him? This area is not safe because all it is covered by some skirmishers who are going to quickly retreat here. But let's bring them up to, say, right here. Right? And we'll select a formation, select the line, and you'll see we send out a courier both to him to tell him where to move, and then the second order is the line formation for his battery. And he will send couriers to his guns, and they will all start moving. Our skirmishers are withdrawing here. I should probably get to safer area because I am very vulnerable out here. So I am going to click on me and move myself out by my brigade here. And you can see our battery commander is sending out his couriers to move his guns. You can see Rome is out here running around. He's doing pretty good. He's inflicted 84 casualties. He's taken 45. He's dislodged the enemy from the farmhouse, and some of his troops have moved into it, and he will probably begin duking it out with the front line here of the Prussians in the town. And we have some skirmisher units. You can see just shooting it out here. They're doing okay, not bad, not bad. They're just hanging in there, shooting it out with some Prussians. But we're going to bring our artillery up here. Here they come. And we can click on them, and again, we just clicked on a gun, so all you got to do is use the order of battle to click on the commander, and you can see he's set up to come right here and start firing away. I don't know if this is the safest spot, but you can see our brigade is starting to make the Prussians withdraw a little bit, so this probably isn't going to be too bad for our guns here. And how do we go? We're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. And let's speed up time just to get our guns in place here. Click on our, where's our battery commander? There he is. Oh no, that's our gun. Here's our bat. And okay. We'll bring time back to normal. Now our guns will start unlimbering. And you can see our brigade is kind of regrouping here. We click on Rome. He's still doing pretty good. He's got 115 points. He's beginning to push into the town. And looks like we got a bayonet charge. I hear a charge going on somewhere here. Yeah, let's see if we can click on ourselves here and see what we can see here with the... you can see our troops have definitely pushed through the first line of the town here. Right? And they're shooting it out with the front line of the Prussians here, and they're continuing to push forward here. Doing pretty good. And let's take up position right behind our gun battery here. Now, let's say we want to support Rome. Rome has now started to push through the town, and we want to apply more pressure. Well, we have another brigade, don't we? So we could now click on Schaefer over here. Let's send him in order to take him off TC. Right? We will also put him on all-out attack. Open the command map, N, on the keyboard, and also assign him the Ligny objective. And let's see what he does. to speed up time a little bit just so the courier makes it there to his brigade commander. Okay, so it says the division of General Pachot is in trouble. Order the division of General Vichery to advance to help. Obviously, I've done so much tutorial stuff here, I've wasted a lot of time. Pachot is not really in that much trouble. Basically, General Vichery has been released to us at this point. This is just scripted, it's part of the scenario, right? So, you can see that now Schaefer has been taken off TC, his stance has changed to all-out attack, and now he's going to send out orders for his brigade to advance. And if we wanted to, we could also start to advance, Vichery's division. But for now, let's just keep things kind of small. Rome is still in there. Click on him. He's doing okay. He's getting more casualties. Things are getting tougher for him now as he's encountering more resistance. But he's hanging in there. We can click on our battery. You can see we've scored some more points. We're up to 15 points now. We have a lot of the town in our front here with this battery. And here comes Rome's other brigade here. He'll march forward and begin to apply more pressure. So, on the attack, I like to command at the division level like this. So I'll let the brigade commanders command their brigades, but I will generally use I will only really move divisions around, entire divisions around on the field, if I'm just moving them to kind of a jump-off point, or a place where I want to set up like a defensive line or something. You know what I mean? So, let's say we want to move Vichery forward, right? His whole division. So right now I'm selected on Schaefer, right, who is a brigade in Pachot's division. So to use the order of battle, I can just use the arrow keys on my keyboard, right? I can go up to Pachot, go over to Vichery, right, and send him an order to take his whole division off TC. And that will, he's all the way back there, so we'll take this courier quite a while to reach him. And you can see that Rome looks like he's starting to meet increasing resistance here. So let's use the order of battle to go back to Rome, right? So we go scroll over to Pachot, right? We got Schaefer, and we can see Rome has been killed, and he's encountering a lot more resistance now. He's down to -38. He's about even in casualties now. He's probably come within canister range of that battery back there. He's in trouble now. But we're sending him some reinforcements now as Schaefer is here, and he's now sighted the enemy, and what he's going to do is evaluate the situation and decide how best to advance his brigade. So very shortly you'll see him send out new orders to his battalions. There they go. And he's going to decide what he wants to do. And you can see he thinks his best move is to assault the castle here. So if we now click on Schaefer's brigade, he's going to move and attack the castle here and try and apply pressure there. Which is not a good move, but it's the move he's decided. And Rome looks like he's being seriously repulsed. Rome looks like he's in trouble. He's still about even in casualties, but he's definitely encountering increased resistance here. So we can see our courier approaching Vichery now. So let's scroll back to Vichery. So we're going to go up to Pachot, go to Vichery. He's now off of TC, and let's set him a divisional formation. So what we're going to do is open the command map, and let's move him right out here. Right, we'll move him out here, and we will set his formation what can we do here? Let's do line artillery front again, and that will set his formation. And we'll also put him on hold for now. You can see we are really being repulsed here. As even some Prussians out here. Let's fast forward again, just so Victory starts moving here. I'm not trying to win here. I'm just trying to show you guys how to... Okay, so now Schaefer has saying he's engaged the enemy. And you can see now Victory's division moving off here. And now everybody has gotten their orders. Let's return time to normal here. And if we click on Victory, we can see now here's his division up here. This is where his division is going to move to. In real time, he's just starting to move out on the real map, but on the command map, this is where we're ordering him to move to. And now that he's moving out there, if we want to, we can send Victory another order just to TC all officers under his command, so he doesn't go and take any initiative of his own. And you can see if we click on Schaefer now, he's trying to assault the fort here. He's meeting some resistance. As I said, this is really not a great attack plan by the AI here. I didn't set it up very well because I really just wanted to get it moving fast. It's not the best attack plan. If you watch my hits video for this scenario in my YouTube channel, you'll see what I would actually do in this scenario if I was trying to win it, what the actual best attack plan is. I just wanted to show you guys something quick about how to get brigades into action from the saddle. Right, so you can see Victory is moving off, and why don't we, as Gerard here, why don't we go off and see Victory here? Let's move off to see him. And these are brigade commanders under Victory letting me know that he has sighted the enemy. The Capitaine is one of Victory's brigade commanders. So let's go and march off here. Double click. You can see our casualties are about even with the enemy. It's been a bloodbath so far. And we're going to march out. And what we'll do is when we get out to Victory, we will start sending his brigades forward into the town to attack these Prussians here and help to relieve some of the pressure on Rome and Schaefer. Just to show you guys how you can get troops into action from the saddle here, riding all over the battlefield here. So real quick, let's speed up time here just to move everything here. Okay. So there's our battery commander. We have intercepted a courier message, which is just a move order from a Prussian battalion. And we're getting another one, and another one, and another one. Okay. So now let's click here and just get Gerard kind of in a central position behind the guns here. Now remember, we just, our last order to Victory's division was after all our movement orders, we sent him a command to re-TC all his officers. So all of his officers are probably on TC now, so that they won't do anything. And this is one thing that's really annoying about hits, is constantly intercepting messages. It's really annoying. I hope one of the things they do is be able to turn that off. This is just going to happen over and over again as we're intercepting AI courier messages. So as we wait for the rest of the battalions to move in, let's just speed up time here to get them all in position here. Okay. So let's say now we want to send a brigade forward. So here's Desprez's brigade, and let's say we want to send him now forward to attack. And we'll give him the Ligny objective, but since he's over here, he's going to attack the town from this side, right? So what you would do is send him an order to take all subordinates off TC, or you know what, his battalions aren't off TC, so the only thing we really need to take off TC is him. So we'll just take him off TC, give him an all-out attack order, you know, and then give him, open the command map and give him the Ligny objective. And now all the battalions are getting their orders, and what we'll do is we'll follow Desprez for a little while, see what he decides to do. So he's got his orders to attack the Ligny objective here. And we'll follow him into battle here and see what happens. And you can see this battle has actually been a real bloodbath here. You can see we've taken 1,500 casualties. We've inflicted almost 1,400 casualties. We're negative about 100 points. Largely a stalemate in terms of casualties. But trust me, we are in no danger of winning this scenario. We are nowhere near the objective. I can hear canister going off, and you know, our units are probably getting destroyed by the Prussian battery. So Desprez has decided to send out some skirmishers. And again, the AI is making all these decisions here. I'm issuing orders, but I'm letting the brigade commander carry them out. And if we want, we can use the telescope to kind of zoom in and see what's going on here. This is kind of a bad view because we're stuck behind the battle standards here. Or we can just ride forward ourselves and see what's going on. And you can see our skirmishers have fallen right back because there's a big Prussian line right behind everything there. So Desprez is going to have to move forward with something a little more forceful than skirmishers here, because there's a whole Prussian line back here, and they're ready to get serious. So Desprez has decided it's time to send the whole brigade forward here, and that's what he's going to do. And let's say we also want to bring the other brigade forward in. So we could click on Vichery and go down to his brigade commanders, and here is Le Capitaine, his other brigade. And why don't we do the same thing? Bring them forward. So we'll take him off TC, put him on all-out attack, use the command map, and let's say we'll send him a little further to the right to attack all of this here. And we'll try and drive through the right here. So we'll give him this as his objective. Because Desprez here has not even really started pushing yet. So you can see that our forces have actually made some headway. They have pushed into the town and have captured. They have captured the church here, the fort, and are pushing through the town. So from a strategic standpoint here, they're not actually doing too bad. Our casualties are pretty bad, but you usually lose more men on the attack than you do on the defense here. But because we have not reached the objective yet, we're not likely to win this scenario here, because this was actually a very bad attack plan in terms of just sending our forces all right through the town. As I said, I do play the scenario hits in one of my YouTube videos, the hits playlist, if you want to see how it really works. And okay, so here comes our other brigade under Le Capitaine, and they're going to begin moving forward as well. And if we click on a battalion here of Le Capitaine, we can just use the order of battle to go up to Le Capitaine himself, click on his orders, and you can see he is planning on driving right through to the right here. And at this point now, we have our whole corps in action here, with the exception of H.I.T.S division over on the right, who we don't have command of. So now that Visscherie's division is up and running, why don't we march over here real quick and just see how bad this is really going here. We are losing a lot of men, despite the fact that we seem to have made some headway as far as the town goes. Just to take a last look at this. And you can see one of our battalions here is routed. They have been utterly decimated. They've lost 276 men. They have been creamed. Probably from the Prussian battery back behind the town here. We got another unit here that is in bad shape. They are going to hang out back here and regroup. So why don't we ride through the town here and actually see what's going on. You can see a lot of dead bodies. This has been a real bloodbath. You can see that not much left of Schaefer's brigade here, of Rome's brigade. He has been beaten pretty badly. It looks like he's withdrawing. But they have pushed a lot of the Prussians back. A lot of the Prussians have pulled back out of the town, and it looks like Schaefer's brigade is having some more success here, and they are going to drive forward here against these guns. So anyway, that's basically how it works for hits here. One other thing I just want to cover here. I'm going to pause the game. You guys have noticed that basically all my orders here were sent basically the same way when I played the normal game. I use the command map, I use the order of battle, I use the officer stances to determine where I want to send my troops. You will notice that I never ever use the courier menu. I have never written a courier message in my life. This is basically just a more cumbersome and confusing way of doing everything I can do from the toolbar already, right? So if I want to select a division commander, right, and then, you know, I could put the time, I could send him an order, but look at all these orders. These orders are all exactly the same as the orders on the toolbar, right? They're all the same. Take charge on, off, attach, detach, all out attack. These are stance settings, right? Move to, you know, face your unit. I can do all of that from the command map, right? All the stuff these are all just buttons on the command map, right? You do not need this. It's much more confusing. The only thing you would ever use messages for, right, is if you are actually playing with other people, real people, right? If you're playing with say you're a division commander in a corps in a multiplayer scenario, and you want to communicate with your corps commander. You want to communicate with your division commander. Well, then let's say somebody is playing Napoleon, right? An actual person, right? You would click on Napoleon, right? And that's a real person in a multiplayer game, somebody playing him. And you would just click free text, and you can actually just type whatever you want to type. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not typing anything, right? And actually send him a real message, right? So here, say Napoleon is being played by a real person, and I am Gerard, and I want to send him a message that, you know, here I am, and I'm getting my ass kicked. Help me, right? That's all I would have. That's all I would have to send a real person, right? And then I could just, you know, the recipient is already set, the text is already set. That's all you really need. I could add the time and date if I want. You know, he's gonna know I'm ordering him. I'm asking for support because I'm literally sending him a message. I'm getting my butt kicked. Help me, right? And then all you have to do is, you know, send out the message, and a courier will go. Now, Napoleon here is just an AI. He's not going to do anything. But if he was a multiplayer, he was a real person, and he had other forces to send me, he could send me help. And that would be the only reason you would ever use a courier message like that, is in multiplayer. Other than that, I never ever do it. I just command everything just like you saw me. I'll use the TC, the various levels of TC on and TC off. I usually will only use, I usually don't use this when I'm playing hits, TC on all subordinates, because that will place battalions and guns and stuff under TC, and that you don't want. You absolutely do not want battalions under TC, because they cannot think for themselves, and you have such a limited view that you really can't command them yourself. Maybe in very limited situations, right? So, all right, hypothetically, this bad. Let's take a look at this this battalion right here, right? They're in a bad spot. They're getting their butts kicked. Their morale is getting weakened. They're in canister range of this battery. Let's say we wanted to get them out of there, right? So I'm in view of them, so I might, okay, they are in trouble. I need to actually take command of them and then move them. I want them to withdraw, right? Get out, right? And double click, right? So I'm going to send out all these couriers. But because the first order I sent was TC, the battalion will then follow all the rest of my orders because the TC order is going to get to them first. That's why I always do TC orders first. Whether I'm taking them off TC or putting them on, you always want to do them first. Followed by the stance, and then followed by the movement. Right? Battalions don't have stances, so I didn't need to have steps. So all I did was TC on, so he's now on TC. Now they've gotten their movement order. You can see their order is selected, and they're just going to double click it out of there. So that's me rescuing that unit from being in a bad position. So in some circumstances, you'll want to take, you know, a battalion and just, you know, in a bad spot, quickly TC them and just run them the hell out of there for something like that. Right? So let's get out of this because this scenario is actually almost over. And let's try something a little more coordinated. And I'm not going to play this whole scenario. We'll just try something where we're going to send a lot of units, a lot of different units forward at once. So, so what can I do here? All right, this is always a good one to use, just because it's a lot. It's a core level attack, and you know, all our divisions are pretty much right next to each other, so it's very easy for you to visualize what's going on here. So let's launch the scenario. And while it's booting up here, I'm going to quickly run to the fridge and get something to drink. I'm a little dry mouth. We're probably going to get our courier orders here while we're waiting. And here they are. It says, Mon General, begin your attack on the enemy left, strike them aggressively, and discover the strength of their defenses. Now, once again, all of our officers are on take charge. So we are a corps commander here. So our division commanders and our brigade commanders are all going to be under TC. Now, there are quite a few divisions in this corps. It's a pretty big corps. It stretches all the way off the horizon there, and all the way kind of to the left here where we are. So if we are Durlan here and we use the arrow key on our keyboard or the arrow right here to scroll down, we can see that we have Passage's division, which is our division on the left here. We have Donzelot's division, which is the division immediately to the right of that division. We have Marcogne's division, which is even further to the right, and then we have De Ruyter's division, right? So De Ruyter's division is way off to the right there, kind of these flags over here. So we have a lot of orders that we want to send forward. So let's decide that we want to do one brigade attack, send one brigade to attack La Haye-Sainte here. So the closest brigade we have here is this one under Charlet, right? So again, when I'm sending troops forward on the attack and not just making sort of battlefield movements, I generally will send them forward. I will generally send them forward by brigade, right, rather than an entire division, because then you don't know how your division commander is going to interpret your orders and send them to brigade commanders. By sending the orders directly to the brigade commanders, you know at least that the brigade commanders know what orders you want them to execute. So because all of our officers are TC'd, we could basically bypass the chain of command, right, and just go right to Charlet and just take him off TC, right? So we'll take Charlet off TC, right? We can set him to all-out attack, or let's make it different. Let's make it attack. Let's not be quite so aggressive. And then let's open the command map and send him an order to attack La Haye-Sainte here. Oh, did I not send him an order to... Oh, I didn't send the TC order. My bad. So I put him on all-out attack, but he's just going to form his brigade up until I take him off TC. And let's say we want to send Bourgeois' brigade to attack right through the Allied center there. So let's take him off TC. Okay, he's come off TC. Let's switch his stance to, let's give him probe. We'll move him forward, but let's see how strong these defenses are. And that is from Charlet. He's letting me know he's approaching the enemy. So we now need to give him, we need to resend him his orders because I kind of did it out of order here. So he's, now that he's off TC, we'll set him to all-out attack and have him attack La Haye-Sainte. And Bourgeois is letting me know that he has seen, he has sighted the enemy. And okay, he's had his stance. So now let's give him his orders to move. Click open the command map and say just drive through the Allied center. Boom. And Bourgeois is about to get his orders, and he will send out orders to attack Lehisant. And here is Bourgeois. We click on him, and he will begin to get his orders. And you can see all his units are right up here, ready to attack the center there. And he'll begin moving forward. Now let's say we want to take Schmitz's brigade over here. Let's say we don't want to send them forward. Let's say we want to hold them in reserve, right? And, you know, just deploy them in line behind the guns here. Well, we could just grab hold of him. We don't need to actually take him off TC. We could just use the command map and say, move him up behind the guns here. Or maybe, yeah, right here. And just select a formation, like line, just to move his whole brigade up there. We don't actually need to take him off TC, because we don't actually need him to attack anything. We just need him to execute a simple formation order. As long as his battalions are not under TC, he can still do that. So you can see that Charlet is moving off to attack Lehisant here. He's got his orders to move in against the units in the Orchid there. And Bourgeois, he has his orders to move forward and attack there. He will probably get engaged at Lehisant. Lehisant did act as something of a breakwater. So now we can see Schmitz's brigade going up. Now let's say we want to take Aluard and we want him to drive an attack. So we'll take him off TC. We'll give him an attack stance and open the command map and say we want him to drive for the objective over here. And we'll do the same thing with this brigade over here, Nogue's brigade. Take him off TC, give him an all-out attack stance, open the map, and send him forward. And then, why don't we grab DeRuta's division, and we'll take him off TC, and why don't we just bring him over here, actually, as a reserve. We'll just set him up over here, and set him up with line artillery front, just bring him over as a reserve. So there's Bourgeois, and as you can see, he is still moving forward here. Here he is. But he will probably become engaged at Lehisant. So why don't we click on ourselves here and just ride forward and see what's going on. So you can see from the saddle, we have pretty much just given orders to our whole corps here. We have sent Passage's division forward. We've sent one brigade from Donzelot's division forward. We've held the other one in reserve. And we've sent all of Marcogne's division on the attack and brought DeRuta's division over here to set up as a reserve in case there's any breakthrough. So you can see from the saddle, it's quite possible to send orders to many different forces and get them all moving. It takes a lot longer. But that is the way Napoleonic warfare was. Cranking up a force the size of a corps was not an instantaneous process in the Napoleonic Wars. As I said, they did not have radios. let's keep moving forward. And as you can see, we're doing pretty good. Bourgeois' brigade here is just trying to march right through Le Haye-Saint here. I think they're in for a rude awakening. We have driven all of the enemy out of the garden here. Here is Charlet's brigade moving in. And we open the command map here. We can see Schmitz's brigade needs a little adjusting. They're facing a completely wrong way. So what we will do is go up to the division commander and go over to Marcogne, go down, I'm sorry, not Marcogne, Donzelot, go down to Schmidt and just send him the command map order, or just rotate him a little bit. He needs to rotate to the left, and we'll just send him a new order to kind of adjust his forces. He's really facing the wrong way there. And you can see here's Deruta. Deruta's division is set up to move over here. But where they really are is they're just starting to get moving over here. And Pagot is letting me know that he's sighted the enemy. And Schmitz is about to get his courier order here to adjust his brigade's facing here, which is just really, really out of whack. So you'll see his whole brigade will start moving here. And if we zoom in here, we can see that out beyond, we can see the other divisions from the other brigades from Marcogne's division that we started sending forward. They're starting to get moving. You can see their goal is to attack the Allied right. And Schmidt is reorganizing himself into something more presentable. So if we click on Schmidt, if we open the command map while we're clicked on Schmidt now, you can see, yeah, I overdid it a little bit. We'll go back a few. 1, 2, 3, and reselect the line. And they'll reshuffle and get fine-tune their position a little bit. But we are Charlet and Bourgeois here are getting ready to apply pressure to Le Haye-Saint here. And Bourgeois likely is waiting for the fort to fall before he really tries to carry out his advance on the Allied center here. He has his objective, but he wants Le Haye-Saint cleared out first. And historically speaking, Le Haye-Saint was a formidable obstacle to the French. So you can see off in the distance our other brigades here moving off to the attack, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you wanted to, you do not have to do it at the brigade level. Let's actually exit this scenario and reboot. Let's launch it again. And you can actually launch division level attacks. They aren't as precise as far as placement goes. Your division commanders have a lot more there's a lot more room for just interpretation of your orders. and I will show you what I mean here. Right, so again, we have all our officers on take charge. Now, let's say we wanted to send all our divisions on the attack, but we still want to make a brigade level attack on Le Hasan. But since we're going to do things at the division level, right, we have to detach Charlet. So the first thing we want to do is we still want Charlet to make a brigade level attack on Le Hasan. Right, see this button right here? This will detach him from his division command. What that means is when I then give division level commands to his division commander, if I go up to Passage, he won't be affected by those orders. Where is Charlet? Here he is. He won't be affected by those orders because we're going to detach him. So let's send him a courier. Everything is by couriers. Right, so we'll send him an order. First thing we're going to do is detach him. We'll send him an order to detach. And what we're looking for this plus sign here to turn into a minus sign. That is how we'll know that he's been detached. And there it is. He's now detached. So now we can take him off TC. We'll give him a probe stance. We just want him to take Le Hasan. And we will give him orders to attack Le Hasan. And now he's off TC. His stance has changed to probe. And here's his last courier. He will now send out orders to his battalions. They will form up and they will begin moving towards Le Hasan. Alright, so now we're going to launch division level attacks. So this is where your division commander has a lot more leeway as far as how he's going to carry out your orders. So I can tell him what I want done, but how he executes that and how he orders his brigades may be completely different than what I think it's going to be. And in instances like this where you're going to launch division level attacks, the best thing to do is actually just observe what the AI does. And rather than try to counter it, try and understand what it is it's trying to do, and then support it. Alright, so Charlet is just letting me know that he's sighted the enemy in his vicinity. That's just a standard courier you're always going to get when commanders come within range of enemy units. So let's launch some of these division level attacks, right? So from Charlet is detached, right? So, but all his other division is not, right? So it's really a brigade level attack still, but we're going to carry it out from the division level. Right, so we go up to Passage, and in this instance, because we're carrying out division level commands, we want to take him off TC and the brigade commander. So here we don't just want to click this button, we want to click TC off all subordinates to make sure the brigade commander comes off of TC too. Right, so we're going to click him, and we're going to click him and take him off TC, and then we're going to order him a stance. With a division commander, you always want to overdo it, because he's going to underdo it, generally speaking. So if you set him to all-out attack, he might set his brigades to probe or attack, or sometimes even defend, a completely different stance than what you. So you always want to overdo it because he's going to underdo it, right? So we're going to take Passage, right? We're going to TC him off all subordinates, and we're going to set him to all-out attack because the stance he gives to Schmidt here, or Bourgeois, could be totally different than all-out attack, and likely will not be all-out attack. But we're going to give him an order to drive right through to the Allied objective here with his command. now what we're going to do is we'll click on this here. This is one of Schmitz's brigades. There's Schmitz and Donzelot. All right, so we're going to take Donzelot's division, right? We're going to TC off everybody, put him on all-out attack, and Donzelot's division is right around here, so we'll just have him drive straight through the center, right? And then we will do the same thing with Marcogne's division. TC off everybody. Again, that's just Bourgeois letting me know he sighted the enemy. Put him on all-out attack, and he's over here. We'll drive through. We'll drive through towards the objective, right? Put a little bit past it. And why not? We'll send Deruta over there too. Put Deruta. No, take Deruta off TC. Put him on all-out attack. And also drive for the objective. And you will see the whole corps will eventually begin cranking up here. And Schmitz has sighted the enemy. You can see Charlet moving off towards Le Haissan. So let's click on us and just ride down the line a little bit and see how this attack launches out here. And you can see one by one our brigades are all getting moving. And again, you can do all of this with just a couple of commands on the Grog toolbar. TC subordinates, attack stances. You can navigate the order of battle either with these arrows or the arrows on your keyboard. You can set destinations for all your attacks just by using the command map. You can see one by one they're all getting their orders and their destinations to make their attacks. And they're all beginning to move out here. Now that doesn't mean all brigades are going to get sent forward. Division commanders usually will send one brigade forward, hold one in reserve. So if we click on a brigade, let's click on Alloy. Let's see what his orders are. So he's on all-out attack, and his orders are to drive forward. Okay, let's see what Noakes is. He's also been ordered to attack. So far, it looks like they're sending everybody forward. However, once they encounter within reaction range of the enemy, they will likely stop and think about what they're going to do. There's Schmitz on his way. Noakes on his way. See, all these brigades are beginning to move out here. Let's keep moving here. So there's Pigot's brigade, part of Deruta's division. So he's going to start moving out. All these brigades are getting ready to move forward here. And why don't we go up to a nice high spot here and just observe this deployment. And again, if you want to see where everybody is actually, you can just open the regular map. We can see that our attack is just starting to get moving here. Charlet has driven the units back into Le Haissan. He's taken control of the garden and is beginning to assault the fort here, while the rest of our brigades are moving out. However, on the command map, we can see that everybody has a plan to move forward here. So we can see that Donzelot's division is moving forward to drive out the center here. Brew is being sent to attack Papilot. Not sure where Pigot is being sent. He's probably in here somewhere. Grenier, Nogs, Donzelot. Where is Pagot? I'm kind of curious as to what Pagot was assigned to do. Alright, so how do I find out what Pagot has been assigned to do? Well, I'm counting on. Scroll down. I know he's part of Daruda's division. Here's Daruda. Here's Pagot. So I can click on him, and I can see he's been assigned to attack the right objective right here. So there is, he was just buried under all the allied units. That's why I couldn't see him. So he's been assigned to attack the right objective. So all our units are being assigned to attack here. Let's click go to me and observe all our units moving out here. So why don't we go check out the assault on Papelot here from Bruce Brigade. Battery opening fire. And you can see our brigades marching out to attack the enemy. And here is Bruce Brigade, and they are assaulting Papelot. Charlet, his courier, has finally caught up with me. Let's get a little closer. See the attack moving forward here. So you can see that if you really want to see what's going on the battlefield and actually get a really good idea of what's going on, you pretty much have to ride around on your horse in real time. There's no scrolling, there's no opening the map and just clicking your camera over. I mean, from a role-playing perspective, this is about as real as it gets. Like I said, no other game does stuff like this. Total War does not do this. Ultimate General does not do this. This is really as real as it gets here. Right, so, okay. Now we could use the scope here and see... we can see our units have kind of gotten Papelot surrounded on both sides here and are shooting it out with the enemy who are inside the fort. And it will probably be only a matter of time before they reduce the fort, force the enemy to run out, and are able to occupy it themselves. To exit the scope here, you just click on it again and then hit the X button. And if you ever do this, if you ever accidentally click and you don't really want to move, just move your cursor to the sky and it'll cancel it. I know I've showed that a million times, but for new players, if you ever actually, like, say as long as you're holding the button, I haven't committed to this move yet, right? Because I can hold the button and spin it. But if I want to cancel that move, to the sky, and it's canceled. You obviously cannot move to the sky. So we can click on Brew here, and you can see that he's not getting the best of it, but that's not unusual when you're first attacking the fort, especially since he isn't using skirmishers. But even so, the fact that he is assaulting the fort from multiple sides here means, with all of his troops, means he is likely going to take it. Just overwhelm it through pressure, basically. So as you can see, our brigade has moved forward here and has encountered some resistance from these guns. Some of our other troops have begun moving forward, and why don't we ride back and see how the attack is progressing. And let's get to a really high point on the hill here. And you can see all our brigades are starting to report in that they have engage the enemy as they move out there. And just going to speed up time here just to get to someplace really fast. Get up to the top of this hill here. And let's slow down now and just move forward to the guns so we can get clear of the smoke. And here's Nog saying he's engaged the enemy. You can see our units are kicking out a lot of skirmishers. H.I.T.S is still in possession by the Allies here. But our units are moving forward to the attack here. And alright, so now we can open up the scope here and take a look at what's going on. You can see we've driven back some of Violence Brigade, so oh, you cannot click on units while you're in the scope. I forgot. And these units are all tied up here. They need to start moving forward. And this brigade is likely being held in reserve. Click on it and see. So he's on defend. Let's see what his orders are. And yes, he's just being held in reserve right now. And as I said, division commanders will very rarely throw their entire divisions at all at once. They'll usually hold a brigade in reserve, or at least some of them will. And you can see that we're starting to push forward here. You can see some of Violence Brigade falling back off the hill. And we have H.I.T.S brigade engaged out here. That's Passage. Where's the brigade commander? There is Schmitz. Where is Bourgeois? Cogne, the division commander. Where is Bourgeois? Oh, he might be attacking. Maybe he's attacking H.I.T.S with Charlotte's brigade. And Schmitz has decided to attack up the center here. And if we look, we can see that our units are indeed beginning to push forward on all fronts here. They are moving up within range of the objective there, continuing to push forward. Papilot has been cleared by Bruce Brigade. He's now occupied it, and so forth. And again, I did not want to move, so I'll move to the sky. Now, let's say I want to put more pressure on. Well, I can take command of this brigade, right, and actually order him to attack, right? So I'll TC the brigade, right? Put him on all-out attack, and actually command him. So he's right here. I want to increase the pressure here, right? So we'll drive through on the command map and just have him move all his troops forward. Commit my reserve, so to speak. Send out orders to his battalion. crested the hill. Our units are pushing forward. If we click on our little zoom scope here, we can look up and see that yes, we have crested the hill. Some of our units are pushing forward through the defenses here, making progress, closing in on the objective here, and so forth. You want to see where you can open the mini-map and see that, yep, we have indeed reached the Allied line at this point. We have 2 brigades assaulting La Haye-Sainte. We have 1 brigade assaulting the left center here. About 3 brigades assaulting the right here, and this will probably overwhelm this position. And now we also have Aluard's brigade moving forward as well. And Bru has taken Papillon. And you can see the guns are giving some of our units trouble here. We've now contested the objective. And how is Bru doing over here? Pretty good. Let's open the minimap and see what else is over by Papillon. So there are still some units out there, so we're going to leave him in the fort for now to shoot it out with these guys. Because if we try to move him out of the fort, he's going to become engaged with these guys anyway. So you can see we have routed a lot of Allied units here. And we have lost the skirmisher unit too. That is these guys right here who are routed off to our right there. And we have moved within range to contest the objective. Now, I will bet you that if I wanted to, I could probably ride out here and grab hold of that objective, depending on how the units are doing. If they push far enough forward. And they're really holding up well in there in La Haye-Sainte. It's going to take a while to shoot all those guys out of there. And now that we've got Allard moving, we're going to take him off take command and reset him to all-out attack. Because once I un-TC him, he will. Once I un-TC him, he will revert to none. So we're just gonna, so he, as he approaches the enemy lines, we want him to be able to command his troops on his own and not just be a brain-dead zombie. We're gonna take him off TC, reset his orders to all-out attack, and give him the destination again so that he continues to mount the attack. And again, go to me. Let's click forward wherever I can. And it looks like our units are right under the objective here. And we may be able to get in range of it. And there are still a lot of Allied units out there. So maybe not quite in range. It looks like it's still being contested. Let's see if I can get a little closer. This is dangerous for a Corps commander. I don't want to get killed. Maybe right there. over here, we still have a little bit more pushing forward to do. You can see our boys shooting it out here. And here come more men. And Allard is letting me know he has engaged the enemy. So we'll have him begin pushing forward. Now, as long as I'm behind my men, I'm pretty safe. It's very rare that you get shot as an officer. A surefire way to die, and I now have the objective. I now have it. You can see it has taken the French colors. I have the timer. I am in possession of the objective. Our hold on it is not very secure. We need to really drive these units back here, but I have possession. So at this point, we will begin racking up points from the objective. Now, it might be good to start bringing up some artillery to start bombing this position. So why don't we grab a few batteries here? We will, can I click on any of the guns? Okay, we'll click on this gun, and let's bring it up to right here. Line, and again, it all has to be translated by courier. We'll bring a gun battery up and help to bomb some of these units out here. However, our battalions are not waiting. They want to keep pressing forward here, and here they go. Here they go. So it might be worth it to grab a battalion or two and TC them and just bring them up here in line to secure the objective. We'll grab one battalion and TC them and just have them come up here and basically solidify the objective, because these units here are still carrying out the attack, so they're not paying attention to the objective. They will probably move off on their own and not really care too much about the objective. So a bloody battle for sure. You can see that our men are indeed pushing forward here. The Allies are still offering stiff resistance on this part of the line. We've got guns up there. We have now taken Le Haye-Sainte. So here's what it's good to do at this point. At this point, we want to TC Charlet and some of the battalions in there. So we're going to TC Charlet, TC him. TC this battalion. And just kind of lock down La Haye-Sainte here so that we can hold this objective. Hopefully he doesn't decide to move out before these couriers reach him. And that'll give us possession of two objectives. As you can see, we are driving the Allies before us here, and this unit is advancing. It's going to eventually move out of range of the objective. So here comes our TC battalion. Let's, for now, position them right behind. Just position them right over here. Just by the objective, but that courier is going to reach them very quickly. And they'll just move off right here to just kind of face these guys and keep us within control of the objective. So as you can see, we are really starting to push forward now. We've really driven the Allies back. There is a lot of cavalry back there, and we really don't want to activate it. Oh, it looks like some of them have already activated. Here they come. So we may have to... some of our forward units here may end up forming square. Here comes our gun battery. Wellington here is being asked for help here by Lieutenant General Lowry, and we have intercepted that message. Here come our guns, and they're set to be placed in a perfect spot here, where we can really bomb away on what's in front of us here. This is good. We may even want to back them up a little bit, just so when they move forward, they're still on the high ground. Set line. There we go. So, let's see. Has Charlet been TC'd yet? Not yet, but he's still in there. Hopefully our couriers made it to him. Didn't get killed. Oh, there he goes. Alright, so Charlet has been TC'd. This battalion has been TC'd. They're doing pretty good. And this battalion has been TC'd. Why don't we TC this battalion as well? They're doing pretty good. Just TC everybody in there, so that they stay in the fort and continue to maintain control of that objective. And here you can see they are still moving off. This is why I wanted this unit here, so we can maintain control of the objective. We will just switch them over a little bit. And again, every order gets transmitted by courier, so we're just going to have them switch over just in line, just a little bit. Right there should be good. So at this point, we've crested 3,000 points. We now have enough for a major victory, believe it or not. Let's use the map and the telescope here and see what's going on. So you can see that some cavalry has indeed moved up. They're not really threatening our men yet, but our men are going to have to slow their roll as more cavalry approaches, because as I've said many times, if cavalry approaches, you form square. Them's the rules. I don't make them. I just follow. So, no doubt, our men have seen that cavalry is indeed approaching. You can see our officers running around, probably starting to pull their men under control a little bit. And this brigade, this battalion here, is going after these guys. I'm fine with that. So some of you boys better start forming square, despite the fact that you keep pushing forward. So here come our guns. Our guns have unlimbered, and they will begin helping our boys out here, choosing targets and so forth. And boy, a lot of our line has really started pushing forward here. The Allies still have a good pocket of defense over by this objective. They're really pestering our central units here with canister. Let's open the mini-map to get a better idea of what's going on over here. So, as you can see, there's not much left in front of that. We're trying to push them from this side, and this is their strong point. This is what they're still trying to hold on to. And we've cracked open a small wedge in between their forces here, and are trying to wrap around and drive them westward. That seems to be what's happening here. All our forces are committed at this point. We have some cavalry off our right flank. That's a problem. Where are they? You see, that's probably these guys right here. We may be in danger of being flanked by some cavalry. Hopefully our boys are known to form square. Our boys don't appear too worried though. None of them are in None of them are in square yet. Oh, there we go. We finally got a unit in square. They formed square. Doesn't appear to be much cavalry over here. See if we can just open the scope here and get a quick view of what's going on over there. Don't see much cavalry. Looks like the cavalry is pulling back too. There is some over here, behind the Allied line. But they appear to be moving off. See if we can get a closer look at them. There they go. Some more cavalry. Again, behind the Allied lines. Looks like we have some more units forming line over here. And we can see some cavalry out there. There's definitely some cavalry off our right flank. Right over here. That is a, yeah, that is a cavalry squad. Our guns are doing pretty good. They've already amassed 109 points. And as you can see, every time I scroll over here, our lines are moving further ahead. Now you can see the Allies have launched a counterattack out here against H.I.T.S. We still have a lot of forces in front, but H.I.T.S is in trouble as the counterattack is begin moving off here. But the French continue to push forward over here. If we open the mini-map, you can see we are really driving this wedge open here. We've really split it since the last time I opened this mini-map here. And you can see that here is the Allied forces moving in to contest our capture of H.I.T.S here. And, yeah, anyway, I kind of got into playing the scenario at some point. I really just wanted to show you guys how to launch, you know, a whole bunch of attacks from the saddle. And, you know, it's really pretty simple. It's really just, the key commands you got to remember are the TC, the attack stances, and using the order of battle either from these arrows here or certainly from the keyboard you can do it too. You know, and how to get everybody moving using the command map. Our forces are just really driving forward over here. But yeah, that's basically how you do it. You know, it's not that difficult. Just remember, when you're going to send forces forward, you know, if you're going to do division level attacks like I did here, you have to TC off all subordinates. Because if you just TC off the division commander, the brigade commanders are still on TC and they won't follow any orders because they're brain dead zombies. So you have to really understand at what level you're sending orders. You can send orders to any level from any level of command. You know, you could be an army commander and send a brigade an order, but you have to bypass the chain of command in order to do that. So you would have to have their corps commander on TC and their division commander on TC, because if you don't, the orders that you give the brigade are likely to be overturned by either their division commander or their corps commander at some point. So you have to bypass the chain of command. So if you send orders to one brigade in a division, you have to do pretty much, you have to bypass the chain of command, put the division commander on TC, and send all brigades in that division, you know, an order at the brigade level. If you want to just send one brigade of a division, a brigade level command, and then use divisional commands for the rest of the brigades, you can do that. But whatever brigade you're going to send brigade level commands, do like I did with Charlet here. If I click on Charlet and detach him right here, so that when you send the division level commands, he won't be affected by that because he's detach from the division. So he'll just send brigade level commands. Boy, look at these Frenchies go out here. They are really, really pushing for it. So we have really, look at this. We have really driven a horse-shaped shoe wedge into the Allied lines here, and have really, really driven far forward at this point. And if we kind of look at what we're looking at here, it's basically all of this right here. All of this has been driven forward to this. I mean, it's really absurd how far they've pushed forward at this point. The French are really in danger of coming in range of the Allied cavalry at some point here. They're kind of defending this position over here from this cavalry off the flank. But yeah, that's basically how you do it, guys. It's not too complicated as long as you remember your chains of command, and you know that if you're going to bypass chains of command and go down to multiple lower levels, to just TC the intervening levels of command, right? So if you're an army commander and you want, or a corps, let's say you're a corps commander, and you want to say a brigade an order, either detach them from the division or TC the division commander so that he cannot overturn your brigade level commands. Because the AI will almost always overturn your orders if you give it the leverage or the ability to do so. So, all right, that's pretty much it. I think that pretty much covers the basics, guys. I'm sure there's lots of stuff I left out, but the main gist is, you know, how do you want to, how do you move units and get them to attack and get them to aim for certain positions and so forth. And when you grab objectives, if it happens to happen, TC officers and who's ever around the objective to, maintain your points if that's something you care about. Objectives are, good ways to win scenarios. As you can see, we are 6,000 points, well past the point of you need for a major. So objectives are still, even hits, are good ways to win scenarios. Your casualties are likely to be a lot more extreme than when you play normally using my tactics, as you can see. But it's certainly a much more immersive experience. This feels a lot more like Napoleonic warfare. A lot of stuff is out of your control. Some is in control. How smart you are in deploying your men, how smart you are in attacking what points, what you do once you capture those points, recognizing when there's opportunities to bring artillery forward and so forth. Now, there are a lot of opportunities I can bring guns forward here. I just didn't do it here. Certainly I could bring another battery forward and place them up here. Now, we've really captured this area. If I put a battery in here, it would go a long way towards blowing up these positions here and giving our forces out here a chance to overwhelm this position. There's a lot of stuff I could have done, but we have really cracked this position wide open here, routed some of these units. These guys are running. These guys are running. So we've really done a great job of splitting the Allied position here. You can see some of our forward units here are in square now. Well, now they're moving to line because they just are not afraid of cavalry, I guess. Have no fear. These guys have gotten another, 60-something points. They're at this point probably a little too far back to do as much good. I might want to, maybe advance them at this point, put them in line, and have the guns move forward even more to support the infantry. He will send out a whole bunch of orders to all his guns. Limber up, boys. Time to move forward, and we'll move up in here to better support all the units and bombing away out here and so forth. But yeah, that's basically how you do it, guys. It's not that difficult. You don't need to be overwhelmed with using this whole courier menu thing that's absolutely worthless. I never use it. The only time you would ever want to do this is, like I said, if you're playing multiplayer, like this, and wasn't this a different scenario I sent that message in? Well, I never sent it, that's why, I just closed it. Or, no, I thought I did send it. Anyway, use free text to communicate with other players. Certainly you wouldn't write it like that. You for immersion's sake, you would probably want to, use more uh, period correct language. Not necessarily stupid American writing. I'm getting my ass kicked. Hell. But yeah, I mean, there you go. There you go. So as you can see, we have Brew is left the fort at his own accord here and has shored up our right flank, and that is probably why this cavalry never really got a chance to swing around us, because Brew, on his own, I didn't tell him to do this, I don't know what's going on in Papilot, probably moved out on his own and formed square blocking these units, ensuring that we were able to hold this position. And we have really just cracked the Allied center wide open here. At this point, there might even be potential to make a drive on Mont St. John. But we don't need to follow this to the bitter end here. There's still a lot of time left in the scenario, or about 15 minutes anyway. And we have more than crested. We are 7,000 points, more than crested a major victory. So I think we can call it here, end the battle. And you can see it's a major victory. Casualties are a lot higher in hits. Do not expect to be... do not expect to ever have bloodless battles like you kind of see me do in some of my normal playthroughs. In hits, it's bloody. It's war. It's a bloody business, and there's no way to avoid it in Headquarters in the Saddle. It's much more of a role-playing experience in terms of actually playing out what it's like to be an Army commander, because you are locked to your officer. I clicked on a ton of other officers and sent them orders, but the camera never moves from Derlang. I am always Derlang. Yeah, but the Grog toolbar was really made to excel in situations like Headquarters in the Saddle, mainly because it puts all the commands you need on the toolbar itself. And you don't need to use the courier system in terms of the way you message. We are using couriers in terms of every order we send out is by courier, but we don't have to actually use the stupid cumbersome courier menu that, I'm being totally honest with you guys, I have never ever used. Never used it. You do not need to. Everything can be done from the Grog toolbar. So let's exit out here, and once more, just to quickly go over the options here. Again, for hits, the most important thing is that you want to set the camera distance to be, I usually set it to 10. You could go a little more if you want, maybe, 20 if you feel more comfortable. Whatever it is, however far. You just don't want it to be so that you can zoom all over the battlefield. Whatever's comfortable for you. I usually use 10. You want to do 15, you want to do 20, to be able to move the cursor up higher, make it easier to move around. That's totally fine. It's all about customizing it to what you want to do. And as I said, as you get more comfortable with it, you can do things like limit how much you can see on the map. More and more. You can bring it up to all in 1,000 yards, all in 700, to finally to bare map where there's nothing on the map, and you can bring the AI aggressiveness, back to 0, put everything back at equilibrium, turn off the targeting list, and bam, you've got, the most realistic you can get. I gave you some settings that are still hits, but it lets you tweak it for being a beginner, right? So the game won't be quite as unforgiving. The enemy units you're facing not quite so tough, not quite so stubborn. It's not a huge nerf. It's just -1. It would be a big nerf to me. But for you guys that are beginners, it's not going to be a huge nerf. It's a good place to set it to if you're just learning how to hit. You're just dipping your feet into it, and like I said, you can set so you can see all the units on the map, because that's really the only way you can see what's going on a battle level scale, especially for you guys that are going to want to jump into things like Corps Command and Army Command, and I know a lot of you guys are not going to be able to resist. Like, you guys are going to want to see like these big, huge, epic battles, and you're going to want to do it in hits. Do this to help you. Do this to help you, to make it not quite so frustrating in terms of not knowing what is going on. Because if you open the maps Both of them, the command map, and the mini map, the regular map. On bare map, you're not going to see anything. Nothing. It doesn't show you anything. Uh, so the only way you're going to be able to really see what's going on a battle level scale on bare map is to find good ground, good high ground that you can move to and observe with the scope to um, to ride around all over the field. You're just going to be constantly moving, you know, and stuff like that. So it gets a little more complicated as you narrow what you can see on the map. That's why I said for a beginner, set it to all units, and you'll be able to at least see what's going on the map. You'll still get the flavor of hits. But you'll be able to see what's going on all over the battlefield, and it won't be quite so blinding to you in terms of jumping into hits, and you're already going to be learning how to play hits. So like I said, if you feel like it, you can back some of these off a little bit just to make the game a little more forgiving. Display the targeting list, and as long as you keep the camera locked to you at like 10 or 15 yards, set the couriers to infantry brigade. It's still headquarters in the saddle. It's just a little more forgiving for you guys to learn, and that's basically it. So. Anyway, I hope this video helps some of you guys that really want to get into more of the role-playing aspect of this. And oh my God, this video was 2.5 hours long. I was hoping to keep this shorter than this, guys. But wow, I'm just so damn talkative all the time. Anyway, guys, I hope this helps you out, at least getting started in hits. It's a good beginner's way. There's certainly more nuance to it than just what I showed you here. And as you do it and get more experience, you will get better at it and learn your own ways of doing things. But this was just a primer to help you guys that are new to the game, that consider yourselves beginners at wanting to learn how to play headquarters in the saddle and really get into the more immersive and kind of role-playing aspect of this game that, like I said, no other game does. Hopefully this video will be a good primer for you guys to learn how to do that. Anyway, guys, until next time, take it easy, and I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.